28 Church Street, built in 1900. Well maintained, but still older. 13 Church Street. That it was built in 1975 with an addition in 2008. And then there's the parking lot beside it. 89 Church Street. This is not one that you had mentioned, but it was right down the road, so I thought, well, why not? It's owned by Carla Carey now, and it was built in 1740, and it's in nice shape. Burt, Maine on Fairfield Street. That is also an older house, above average, built 1920, but it is neighborhood commercial. He has his building there, his home, and Jason Howell out on at 27 East Pond Road. Same thing. He has his business there, his home there. I mean, we can go. I would be happy to go through all of these. There's a lot of them. Out on 199 Hussey Hill Road, there is a double wide that has a garage, unattached, that was built in, the garage was built in 2012, and that's where the Oakland Axe Factory, where they handcraft electric guitars. Oh, Alan Brenton's in here too. Oh, he left. 11 South Alpine Street. That's Hometown Auto. That's an old garage, older garage, and an office. B&B Embroidery at 82 Libby Hill Road. It's a comparable property. 526 Trafton Road is a workshop, woodworking shop that is in a garage that is separate from the living facility, but he does his work there. Carolyn Stenney, 902 Kennedy Memorial Drive. You told me that that was commercial. I don't see any commercial activity there yet. It may be commercial, it may come to that. I mean, it's a great spot. But at this point in time, it's just an apartment, a barn with an apartment in it. Sold for a pretty good price too. Sold for $185, and it's assessed for $105.9. But there may be commercial aspects out there that I am not aware of at this point.
And that's right on the corner. That's,
Yes.
Yeah.
Country Club Road,
Yeah.
9 Bacon Street. That is a neighborhood commercial. It's a mobile home with lots of additions, and it has a garage that has been used over the years as a auto repair shop. In the property tax bulletin, property tax abatement and appeals procedure. That was just in case anybody had any questions that would be answered in that bulletin. Machining Innovations, 279 Summer Street. Was never a comparable to your property, never. Dan Sweat, Country Club Road. He's also got a piece on KMD that he has significantly improved, which is now 4 Electric Avenue. 212 High Street, that's the mini warehouses that were never compared to you. Bruce Olson, Fairfield Street. He manufactures wine and whatever other spirits he manufactures down there. That's neighborhood commercial. That's an old garage rehabbed.
Work in progress.
Harlan Taylor, downtown commercial. Hardy Taylor. It's closed now, but it was a lucrative business at some point in time. Donald Kingsbury, 163 Town Farm Road, manufacturing. 23 Church Street. That is just it's a commercial property, but it's all residential. There are 5 units in there. 86 Church Street, Scooby-Doo Realty. That's another 4-unit, older property, 1925. And the House Moose, 98 Church Street. That's another older building, 1920 older building. And you can tell that I'm old. I've been an assessor for 34 years and 27 here in Oakland. So I'm very familiar with properties in Oakland.
Do you have any
Questions?
questions at this point? Are you ready to make your presentation?
I have some questions for Kathy.
Okay, sure.
When you came out when I contacted you for abatement in 2013, you came out to the house and I showed you around the house. And then you had me sign off on a piece of paper documenting that you came to the house.
On the property record card, yes.
On the property record.
Yeah, that you witnessed the
So
inspection.
when you say that you've come back every year, did you come into the house or
No.
did you get
No,
out of your vehicle?
If I could, yes. And if anyone was there. But not
Did you ever
everyone.
knock on the door?
I have knocked on the door several times, particularly when you were putting on the porch.
That was 2014, so that was 5 years ago.
I'm out there every year to see what's changed, to see if anything needs to be changed on your property record card.
Don, when we bought the property, or when we were trying to buy the property in 2012, we had you come out and give an an opinion of value, a broker opinion of value, so that we could take that to the sellers who own the building and get a just amount that we could agree on. And do you remember coming out there and looking around? And do you remember what the value was that you gave us?
It was quite a few years ago.
It was, I'll let you know, it was $60,000 is what you told us. It would,
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
listed it for them, it would be worth $60,000.
Correct.
So the sellers agreed that they would sell it for 66, and then I paid the taxes that year, and then my father let me know that I could actually, it was tax valued at 160, so almost $100,000 more than what it was paid for. So you came out and did an abatement, and you took off $30,000, dropped it to 130, which I did not agree with because we were still about $60,000 off. But I thought that I could work towards that, and there was plenty of room for improvement there. But in the past couple of years, it seems like you really just want to get back to that $160,000 valuation without any evidence. The past 2 years, we've done nothing. It is complete. The house is complete. We haven't done anything. Siding's on. Interior's complete. Everything's done. So I'm gonna call Adrian as a witness.
So I'm Adrienne Lovejoy, I'm Evan's wife, and I am not on the deed, but I was dating Evan
You're
when
just a
we...
witness.
Yeah, and well, yeah, I have been at the property since we purchased it. But I actually made a fun handout too, for you each to have. I included some pictures in here that have a date stamp. of major work that we had completed on the property over the years. You know, in the world of Facebook, everything that you do, you can put right online, and when you're excited about it. So things like the siding, the addition that we referenced, the living space, which includes the kitchen, which was the added living space on the second floor. All of that, we have documentation that was completed by May of 2015. Kathy had been at our property in February of 2015. We did all this work ourselves, so you can surmise that the work was mostly complete, if not actually complete, at the time that Kathy came out. Since then, we haven't done any additional work than what is here in 2013, except for the front farmer's porch in 2014. So the argument of the continued work, the house has been painting, the siding has been on, so on and so forth. So the argument of continued work without actually entering in on the property is what we struggle with the most, because we know we haven't done anything in the past, at least 5 years, longer than that if you exclude the farmer's porch. On the interior, we haven't done anything additionally. So for our valuation to continuously go up, we struggle with that because we just haven't done anything. And we haven't seen Kathy. We both actually work from home. So the other problem, the major concern though that brought me here was, because I have to look up tax valuations on properties all the time. And I saw, when I realized how high we were, I know that we're high and we continue to keep going up. So I felt as though if I didn't bring attention to this, that we'd continue to go up without some sort of evidence that we aren't continuing to improve and this is where we are. I want to draw to attention to that the property that we own was originally a horse barn, before it was a car dealership, before it was a bait shop, and then the wood shop was added onto it. So when we purchased it, the living space that is being described was in dire conditions. So again, as he pointed out, we were probably pretty high when we purchased the property at 160. That's considering what we were walking into. It was hardly a working space. Yes, go ahead.
Which sheet are you referencing?
I'm just on page 2 of this. And then there's each page kind of corresponds with going forward. So the living space that we came into was pretty much the equivalent, if you can think of like a game room above a garage. Like, it wasn't anything gorgeous, it wasn't finished in any way, it was really bare minimum. So like Evan had expressed when we originally brought up our concerns when we purchased the property, we figured we could work towards the valuation that we were at, but instead we've continued to go forward. If you flip forward from the table page, I just included the same 2 similar pages that Kathy has in hers. That's our tax card, and then the proof of us going up every single year, and we've never seen Kathy come inside. There's no evidence of either one of us letting her in or her seeing any work complete. And then the next page is the photos, and you can look closely and see the time and date stamps. I added notes underneath so you could see. And then I did include 2 pictures of the actually completed kitchen, so you could see that while we did add on a kitchen, we're not talking about an astronomical amount of additional living space on the second floor. The second floor, and again to describe, we do have a workshop connected to our living space, but it's just a 1-bedroom apartment. So it's a 1-bedroom apartment above a commercial space. So that was the other, if you keep flipping, I have included 4 comparable properties to ours where I tried to find commercial properties that had living space attached to them. Kathy was pretty adamant and has expressed it with her documentation as well that she wants like-use property. It's hard to find a one-man woodworker who is in the community. So, but actually down the street from us on 382 Smithfield Road is Ed Dewin. He's a fine carpenter, he does cabinetry, he does finish work. He has a 4-bedroom house and then a workshop similar in size to ours. His is a little older, but his valuation does come in much lower than ours. And then the condition is described as better, and his square footage, living space, and his workspace are all larger than ours, but his valuation is still less than ours. Another one, we've brought it up a few times, the 99 Church Street property that has the 2 hair salons, barbershops below, and then it actually has a 3-bedroom apartment. So again, a much larger apartment than ours. The land valuation is similar because they are closer to town, and we have a little bit more acreage, but the valuation comes out the same. Both businesses are one-man bands, so similar in size to ours. Because that was another issue that I had, a discrepancy that I had as far as some of Kathy's comps, is that the Woodsmiths that she cites as a direct comparable to ours is a much larger business. They have employees, they put out a lot more product than we do, they have much more machinery than we do, so they're able to put out more. Again, personal property isn't a part of it, but they are just a bigger facility than we are. So still can't see how that's a comparable to ours, where he's just by himself. So again, I tried to put similar businesses into what they can do and the revenue that they can create, because I think when you're comparing commercial properties, I feel like that should kind of come into play, because that would matter in market value and certainly matters in tax collection time. The next property I compared was 28 Center Street. That's mainly elder care down the way here, and that actually is a business with a 3-bedroom apartment attached. It didn't really have reference of that on the tax card, but that you can drive by and see the sign. I've been in the building myself. I worked there for a number of years. And they, again, much larger business than us, many employees, plumbing, the whole shebang. And granted, the year is older, but the condition is cited as better. The square footage is bigger, and still the valuation is less. And then the last one was one that Kathy